All right. So, some of you guys weren't able to make it on the call today. However, I got some really great feedback from the people that were on the call, and it made me believe that the best thing that I should do is make a recording of it and send it to you guys. Now, I didn't actually record the live call because I only had about 55 minutes and I wasn't able to get the recording up and going the way I wanted to, and I wanted to make sure I deliver the content the right way. So, I'm actually taking the time to re-record it because I heard it provided so much value and I wanted to share it with you guys. So please, if you didn't make the call, watch this because this took me an extra hour pretty much to go ahead and make. So we're gonna kick things off with a real serious photo of me working. That's a leading indicator that this call is gonna be good. You can just see it. All right, moving on, here we go. Goal for today is to work with you to understand what our best and worst customers do so you can focus on the right things and be as successful as possible in our program and so much more. I know, the Steve Jobs thing's been overused a million times already. I don't care because it's perfect for what I'm talking about in these next few slides. So Steve Jobs, some people admire this guy, some people don't. There are two roles he had with Apple and he sucked at both of them when he started. The company struggled for years and he got fired from Apple because he wasn't a good fit for one of the roles, even though he was the one that started the company. He worked on and got better at both of those roles and is known for being the best ever once he returned. Do you know what those roles are? So now I had people interact and we had people give their guesses. And just to cut a long story short, the two roles were CEO and sales. So these were the two roles that not only did he take on, but pretty much everybody takes on when they first start a business. And what's crazy is I believe that these are the two most skill needed roles in the company. These are the two most important roles to a business. The person that is leading the vision and the execution of the ideas in the business, and the salesperson, the person that is presenting the product that the company has worked their butts off to make and presenting it in a way to where people want to buy it and people want to learn more. They want to be a part of it. Without sales, you have no customers. Without customers, you have no business. And without a CEO, you have nobody in charge leading the ship and really taking everybody to the land of freedom. So that being said, these are the two most skill needed roles. However, what stinks is these roles, unlike some roles like bookkeeping or the personal trainer or the coach, these are roles that don't need any type of certification or qualification or licensing. You don't have to pass a test. You don't have to qualify. Nothing. Most of you started out as CEO and sales, and you didn't have to go through any of that stuff. And it's crazy to me because these two roles need the most ongoing education. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today because my goal, my mission, my personal mission, not Loud Rumor's mission. Loud Rumor has a mission to get 100,000 people to find a healthier lifestyle through fitness. And I'm all on board with that. And that means getting more fitness studios, more members. My personal mission, personally, is to help business owners realize the importance of constantly developing themselves as CEO and lead salesperson. Even if you're not the person, just like Steve Jobs, he didn't have salesperson on his business card, but he was the number one salesperson. Every time you saw him go up on stage, he was selling. Every time you saw him in meetings with his staff, selling them the vision of what the new product is going to do for the world. All that selling. He is the most important salesperson to the company as the creator of the vision and the person that's building and creating a team, recruiting people to basically take that vision into fruition. So these are two roles that I really want every small business owner to take seriously and not just count on their God-given gifts because you don't have enough gift inside of you naturally to take you to somewhere really great. We're going to talk about that. You're born gifted but not skilled. People are born gifted for sure, but nobody is born skilled. You have to work and beat on your craft constantly in order to really develop a skill to turn that gift into something really profitable like he did. And we're going to talk more about that. There are two things that everyone needs to constantly do in order to be great, and that is number one, work your ass off. If you guys don't know Kobe Bryant and his story and his work ethic, learn a little bit about it, because this guy to me is the hardest worker that ever stepped on a court. To give you some insight, and you guys can watch the documentary Muse, M-U-S-C, if you like. It's on Netflix. I believe it might even be on YouTube as well. But people said that he came to practice 3 hours before practice started. He was dripping sweat before anybody even walked in the gym. When they went to the Olympics, everybody went down and met for breakfast, and they were wondering where Kobe was. It's his first day. These guys are taking it light. So they're yawning. They just woke up. Kobe's walking back with his training team, dripping sweat. He's already been up for 4 hours of training. And one other cool thing that I really love, my favorite story, just to show you guys how a person that wants to be great works, how he thinks about his mastery, how to really get there. This guy found out who the #1 defender was, perimeter defender. And for those of you that don't know what that means, Kobe Bryant's a perimeter player, meaning he likes to play far from the hoop and make his moves or take shots from there. He's a perimeter player. He found out who the #1 perimeter defender was in college. He got his scouting team, the Lakers scouting team, to get that guy on the Lakers. And he got him just for the one purpose of guarding him. Here, let me tell you what I mean by this. He made this poor rookie show up 2 hours before practice every single day. Before practice started, 2 hours early, just to play one-on-one with him, and he wasn't allowed to play offense. For 2 hours, all he was able to do was guard Kobe Bryant, play defense. It was Kobe's idea. Nobody else was there, just those two guys. And every single practice, Kobe would work on something that he found out he was weak in after watching tape in the previous game. So some days he would just play lefty for 2 hours, and this guy would have to guard him. He would just shoot threes. He would just make layups. He would just do fadeaway jumpers. Every practice, he would do the same thing for 2 hours, and the guy guarding him knew what he was going to do. He still couldn't guard him. That's taking a weakness and turning it into a strength. That is mastery. That's a guy that is dedicated to being absolutely great. So think about how you guys work and compare it to him. Now, you don't have to be an animal and absolutely obsessed like him. This is a guy that was going to be the best. He wanted legendary status, and he got it. If that's not where you guys want to be, you don't have to put in the work like him. But if you want to get close to that, if you want to be great, understand you're going to have to get close to that. Okay, so here we go. Next thing is you got to constantly learn. So you guys can probably already tell I'm a basketball guy, but we're going to get some really cool stuff. I just want you to understand these two things. Work your ass off and constantly learn. So the two people you see here on the screen are LeBron James. He's the one in the black shirt with the ball, and Hakeem Olajuwon. He's the one in the white outfit. Now, Hakeem Olajuwon's been retired for about, I think, 13 or 14 years. He is an all-time player. The guy is 10th in the NBA in scoring. He won 2 championships, and the guy was just phenomenal. Now, LeBron James has actually accomplished more. LeBron James is the student in this video. He's in black. He actually has done more than Hakeem Olajuwon did in his time frame. He's already won 3 championships, been to the finals 7 times, MVP more times. He is a better player than Hakeem Olajuwon was, but he knows that Hakeem Olajuwon was better at one thing, which is this post-up play. And that is something that LeBron James knew he needed to get better at. So he asked Hakeem Olajuwon to be his mentor and his coach. And Hakeem Olajuwon in this video, and there's several videos, is just teaching LeBron James how to play close to the hoop like this. And he's showing him his moves. I'm showing you this to you guys because mentorship is what changed my life. Before this, I was working constantly the same things over and over, and I would ask advice for different people, but I never really had a true mentor, a person that was a master at one particular thing. And you don't have to find somebody that's better than you at business. You don't have to find somebody that's built a ton of really great fitness studios. You can find somebody that you may even be more successful than, just like here, but they do that one thing better. To give you a great example, my mentor, David Berg, he's amazing. He's one of my mentors. I have like 5. But this guy's got a few different businesses. One of them has over 200 employees, far more successful than I am, has been in business for way longer than I am, has done bigger deals than I ever did. But he asked me to help him with some sales strategy. Now, why would he do that if he's so much better than me? He's better than me because that's one area, just that one area he knew I was significantly better than him in, and he could learn some stuff. And that's what he brought me on for. And I do the same thing. And guys, I encourage you to do the same thing. Is there somebody out there that's selling better than you? Is there somebody out there that is building a team and hiring people better than you, keeping people better than you? Are there employees working better than you? Is their Instagram or Snapchat game really bringing in business more than you're able to? Find out what people are great at and ask them to go to lunch. They will go with you. And just be a student and listen, and never ever say the phrase, "Oh yeah, we've done that before." Nothing turns a mentor off more than hearing somebody say, "Yeah, we've done that before." Just listen. Even if you have done it before, just swallow it and listen, because you want him to keep going. You don't know where he's going with that idea. You'll see him slowly progress into something cooler. Anyway, moving on, constantly learn. Those are the two things. Work your ass off, constantly learn. You can't have one without the other. Think about it. You can't. Okay, this guy right here, if you guys follow physique competitions at all, you'll know this is three-time Olympian Olympia winner in the men's physique competition, Jason Windia. And this guy here, I have him on the screen because although he probably has a lot of genetic gifts to him, and he's probably got quite a few supplements going on in there as well, you don't just win 3-time in something as competitive as the Olympia. You don't just do that. And what I want you guys to understand, the analogy I'm making here with business, is that just like in business and in health, which you guys understand in fitness, you may be born with certain gifts that allow you to be more successful than others that don't have that same gift. However, you have to get a lot of external information in order to be great. This guy was not born understanding what calories are. He wasn't born understanding the difference between good fats and bad fats, good proteins, bad proteins, good carbs, bad carbs. This guy wasn't born understanding how much to rest in between sets, or how many days to rest in between certain muscle groups, or how much to exercise and how to exercise. He wasn't born with that. To get to this elite level, he had to get a lot of external education in order to be able to put his gifts into real use. And so what I want you guys to understand is, for business, it's the same thing. You guys are born gifted. Maybe you have the gift of gab, okay? Or maybe you have the gift with people, and people like you, and you're a likable person. That's great, but you have to get constant outside external information to be able to use those natural gifts and talents into a real profitable skill, something that can make you great and win. So please, guys, main thing I can tell you is learn, learn, learn. Don't be the guy. Our most unsuccessful customers are guys that already know it all, guys that read a third of a book and change books, guys that really don't ever get coaching or mentors, don't even understand what that means, or are afraid to ask for that. Don't be that guy. Trust me, they do not win, okay? Being great is hard, and you want it to be hard. If it was easy, then everybody would do it, and then it'd be hard anyway again. So you want it to be hard. The harder it is for other people to replicate you, and you can separate yourselves. Put in the work, and you'll be surprised as to how easy it'll get down the road, okay? I need leads that actually have money. Raise your hand quietly to yourself if you found yourself saying this when doing any type of marketing program. Here's what I'll tell you. Our most successful customers, Liberty, Daniel, Michael from South Tampa Fit, all these guys that were on the actual live call. By the way, notice that the most successful people are on the live call. And not to say that the least successful people were the ones that missed it. I know their schedules and stuff. Actually, Liberty was one that couldn't make it on the call, and she's super successful. But what I was really getting at is, you'll find they always are wanting to learn. I want you guys to look for every opportunity to learn. So I need leads that actually have money. So this is something that the most successful people don't say about their advertising. They just want leads in the door that fit the demographic and are close to their location. Here's why. Nobody is saying, "Oh man, I have all this money and I have all these fitness goals to achieve, but I don't know where to go or who to give it to." And if there is somebody like that out there, there aren't enough of them to actually build a business around. You're not finding 300 people saying that within a 5-mile radius, okay? So when you start saying that to yourself, let that be a leading indicator, just like it is to everybody else that we know here, that you and your process have to become better, okay? Quick tip, watch this episode. This is actually Liberty Harper. She's one of our customers. However, before she was even a customer of ours, at the age of 21, she started a fitness studio, and by the age of 24, 3 years later, sold all 65 locations. She consulted people for the next 10 years or so in the franchise world, and then got involved in another franchise one location in January of this year. Now we're 10, 11 months in, and she's already got 5 locations. She's killing it, got 150 members, paying members already to 1 location. And in this episode, she literally breaks down her whole sales strategy from the moment that she calls a lead or they call in, all the way down to how she gets them to buy on the very first day they come in on their trial, a free week pass. Guys, please watch this. If you don't watch this, if you're making a reason to not watch it, then you are no longer allowed to say, I've done everything and nothing worked. You can't say that. This right here is one thing you should do, okay? If you don't do it, you can't say I've done everything. All right, 239,000 foot view of the mindset that I want you guys to have when you're getting into sales. And we're going to get into this as far as the points to be better at sales. So, ready to get started? Here we go. Number 1 is know who your competition is. Now, a lot of you are probably sitting back going, yeah, well, of course, I know this already. Yeah, but you don't know it the way I'm going to tell you. So what most people are doing is they're thinking about their actual competition within the industry, right? So you guys are probably thinking, well, yeah, these are like my competitors, right? If they're around my studio within 3-4 miles and they offer fitness just like I do, if it's a Anytime Fitness or if it's a Lifetime Fitness, an LA Fitness or CrossFit, whatever, they're all competing with me. Let me tell you something right now. They're not your competition. It's not other fitness studios. Believe me. And it's not going to make sense at first, but let me explain. Everything is your competition. Everything. So, remember that girl that you think's got all that money and she just doesn't know where to spend it? Well, guess what? Nordstrom's is asking for her for money. So is Kohl's and all the specials that they have going on around this time of year. And her family who really wants that vacation and hasn't gotten it. They didn't get to go out in the summer and their kids are begging, Mom, when can we go to Disney World? When can we go to Disney World? Well, that's going to cost money. And little Nikki wants to get back into basketball. But then so does his little sister Susie. She wants to get into dance. It's not fair that Nikki gets to play basketball and she can't do dance, right? So we got to get them both in. But guess what? These kids' feet are growing every 3 months. I got to get him new basketball shoes. I got to get Susie new shoes. He needs a new ball because he popped the last one when letting it fall into a cactus. I'm in Arizona. That's a real problem here, by the way. 7 basketballs I bought for my son the last year. It's ridiculous. Okay, TVs, Black Friday. Hey, look at this. This TV that was $1,500 last year is only $300. Maybe we should get it, honey. And hey, it's so embarrassing. Every time company comes over, they go to get ice and they have to explain to them that the ice machine doesn't work. We should really get a new fridge. And I really need to get a new car. My car's really acting up. It's making that weird noise. We should get one for the family. It'd be safe for us. And I want to do something for myself. I want to get an Apple Watch or something for myself. I feel like I don't ever do anything for myself. We should really get the family a dog too, right? Because it'll help teach your kids responsibilities. And 1 year later, if that dog's anything like my dog, we also need a new couch because it's ripped to shreds on the sides because he likes teeth on couches and tables and beds. And also, thanks to Fido here, we need a new yard. So I want you guys to understand you're not competing with fitness studios as much as you're competing with everything. When their employer pays them, they don't get paid in chunks and segments where they go, hey, okay, so we're going to pay you $2,000 for this paycheck. And just so you know, $200 here, this $200, this money is only good for a car. So it doesn't work if you go to buy Nikki basketball. And this $300 here, it's only good for a fitness membership. It won't work if you go buy a car. It's just not going to work. They don't accept that form of payment. That's not how it works, right? When they get paid, they get money. Period. And they do whatever they want with that money. And there's so many things competing with you for that money. Internally, with the family, externally, with all the other promotions and sales and ads and all that stuff, right? So more people say no to fitness, not to a fitness studio. Why do you think so many people are out of shape? Your sale is not to convince them that your gym is better than everyone else's. That's the main problem. That's the number one mistake I see people in sales doing, is they're selling how they're different and how they're better and how they're unique because they think that matters to that person. That person probably isn't really even shopping you with other gyms. They're not like you, where they're going to work out regardless. Now it's just a matter of where. That's not the way it is. Most people are probably not going to work out unless they really get inspired to do so. And in order to do that, they need to be sold on actually taking fitness seriously, not your studio. So stop making it about you. Stop talking about how different you are. Everyone's talking about how different they are, meaning that makes everybody the same, which is ironic. And stop talking about how much better you are because everyone's saying that too. So that creates a level of bullshit. So just talk about them. And we're going to get into that. Know what's important to them, and you have to dig. I don't know if anybody has ever heard or watched the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. He is hilarious. If not, YouTube him. It's Sebastian Maniscalco, and he has one particular skit in a comedy where he talks about how him and his family are big gossipers, and they always have to know what everybody in the family's doing, and his wife isn't like that. And his wife is Skyping with her mom, and they're going back and forth. Hey, how are things going? They're good. How about you? Yeah, things are good. And then she gets off the Skype call, and he goes, hey, so what's going on? How's everything with your family? She goes, oh yeah, everything's good, everything's good. He goes, it's not good. You got to dig for the story. You got to dig. You got to really find out something's going on, right? And it's the same thing with your customers. You have to dig. When you say, so hey, why did you decide to start doing fitness? They're going to tell you the same thing as everybody else. You should know that because everyone's saying it. I just, wanted to get back in shape, or I just figured it was about time, or I've been real lazy for a while. That's where you dig. Why? Well, tell me about that. Why? Okay, we're going to get into that here in a minute. You got to talk about their favorite topic and care about it. Now, quietly to yourselves, because we're not actually on the webinar like we were today. Most people got this right. Some people didn't. What do you think everybody's favorite topic is in the whole wide world? It's not football. It's not The Bachelor, like somebody said actually today in the webinar, which is pretty funny. It's themselves. They are their favorite topic. Now, let me tell you how intrigued and why they're going to be so intrigued when you literally just talk about them the entire time. Because nobody else does. I want you to look at this girl in the picture. And I want you to think about all the things that she does, right? Her friends, her circle of friends. And she goes out and she starts telling a story about something that happened to her or her family, her kids, right? So yeah, I went to the mall and I did this and little Bobby said blah, blah, blah. What do you think the other girls at the table start doing? Do they ask her more questions? Oh, really? Why did Bobby do that? Oh, does Bobby do that all? No, you know what they do? They immediately jump to a relative story about them. Oh, yeah, little Janie, she does the exact same thing. Last week I took her here. And then the other girl, oh, yeah, my kid did the exact same. And everyone's just talking about themselves. Nobody is talking about this girl for as long as you will. Not even her husband. And now, that's not to say that she's probably in a bad marriage. It's just that her husband knows so much about her already. So he's not asking her so many questions like you can. And when you start asking her questions, that talks to the heart and it talks to the gut. This makes her feel really, really good. And that's not just a girl thing, it's a guy thing, period. People like to hear about themselves and their goals and how they can get there, and they want to know somebody's on their team. Here are some example questions. I'm not going to hang out here as long as I did in the webinar. You guys can pause it if you'd like. But these are some great questions to get in there and really dig. Like, what's your goal? Why? Find out why is that their goal. Have you been there before? How did it make you feel when you were there? Some of these questions you may be asking already. Scroll down and get to the bottom. If I told you you'd be able to be there in 6 months, is that pretty cool to hear? Yeah, that'd be really great. Want to see how we can do it? It's actually a pretty simple plan. It's just a lot of hard work. Are you up for the hard work? Yeah. All right, cool. Let me show you how we're going to get you there. Right? So let her see it. You guys as fitness people, you know if a person has to lose 15 pounds, how long it should take that person to get there given they do all the right things. This person doesn't understand the science like you do. And so if it doesn't make sense to them, then they're uncomfortable. If you don't understand something, it creates uncomfortable feelings. And uncomfortable minds don't buy. The clearer vision they can have of what it's going to look like when they're here, you're painting a picture of the finish line, of the destination, of what they're going to look like and how they're going to feel when they're there, the more likely they are to buy. Don't sell them on where they're at today. That doesn't get most people going. Sell them on where they're going to be and how they're going to feel when they get there, and let them paint that picture. Works really well. This is where the gut sold, not the brain. You do need to sell both. I don't know if any of you guys watch the show The Profit on CNBC. If you do not watch the show The Profit, start watching that show. Because Marcus Lemonis, in my eyes, is the best salesperson I've ever seen. Now, you got other guys out there like Grant Cardone, who's also a badass. But this guy, Marcus, does it the way that I feel relates more to fitness and how you can do it, because it's more on an emotional level. So for those of you guys that do watch the show, you already know that this is the pattern. The show starts out where, and by the way, most people don't know this is a show about a sales guy. I don't even think it's advertised. It's not advertised that way. It's a show about business development. But real salespeople can watch this and go, holy shit, This is an hour of a sales process. That's all it is. So what you notice, every interaction starts the same. He walks in, he says hi with a nice smile, he looks around impressed, gets the person feeling good, starts asking him questions about himself, person starts talking, and then he gets to the pain quickly, finds out why they're in the position that they're in, and finds out what mistakes they're making, how it's impacting them. And almost every person cries. That's how good he is at getting the pain. Almost every single person cries. And then once they cry, then he brings them back up by finding something positive that that person's doing, right? So a person may be crying because they're losing money and employees don't want to work there. And then he'll find something, even if it's something as far-fetched as, hey, look, John, what I can say is the way you're feeling right now, this is a good sign because it shows your passion that you really care. And you don't want your employees to feel this way. And you don't want to be in this position. And that means a lot because if you didn't give a shit, I probably wouldn't want to do this deal with you. But because you actually really want this to work and you'll see the person going, yeah, I do. You go, well, that's why I want to do business with you. But you're going to have to make some tough changes. Are you okay with that? The person will say, yeah. And now he challenges them. So here are the 3 phases in sales. If you guys haven't learned it before, Google child, parent, adult sales. Learn this concept. A child is where people need to get to first in the sales process. The child will show you their pain. But just like children, they won't get to pain until you build a little bit of rapport first. And that's what he does when he first gets there. Then the child will cry and tell him his pains. Now, you don't have to get every person to cry. I don't want you to think everything has to be like an Oprah episode. But you definitely want to get them to start talking about their pain. And then that child, the state of mind that they're in right there, that person shouldn't be making a buying decision. So you don't actually pitch the program there. What you have to do is you have to lift them up with a level of responsibility to take them into parent mode. As a parent, we have responsibilities. And that's where you see Marcus Lemonis, what he does is he gives them a responsibility by saying, but it's going to take a lot of work. Are you up for that? And they say, yes. And you're doing a good job. You can tell you care. Yes. This is responsibility. So now he takes them to parent mode. Once he's got them into parent mode, now he can take them into adult. Adult is what actually makes a decision. And he can't do that until the parent plays for a little bit. So, in other words, takes a class. Once they do that, then you can bring them back and rationalize things and map things out as to how it's going to work, and it makes sense so the person can make an adult rational decision. Okay? If you get a person to buy in child, what happens is sometimes you get buyer's remorse and they call in and cancel the next day. You don't want to do that, okay? I know this may sound tricky. There's a whole book on it I'm going to share with you later, but if you could also Google child, parent, and adult sales. I promise you guys, understanding how the mind works, the psychology of the buyer and the subconscious all together will help you not only be a better salesperson to leads that would need to become customers, but customers that need to become lifetime customers and referral partners to your employees on the vision of the company and really working hard on helping the company get there and doing everything they can and working 100% every day. You'll need to learn how to sell better to your spouse and your kids as to why you may have to work late on certain days and get them to feel good about it and actually support you on that process. And also on your family members and friends as to why you may not be able to make that barbecue and your vendors on certain deals. Now remember, being a salesperson is not about being deceiving. It's about properly communicating and delivering a message in a win-win way to where the walls are down and the person understands why you do what you do, okay? It's really, really important you guys understand there's nothing to be ashamed of in being in sales. And in fact, if you are the type of person that is saying, not has said, is saying, oh, I'm not a salesperson, I don't want to be a salesy type. If that's the way your mindset is, then shut this off right now, because I'll tell you right now, you got the wrong mindset. And here's why you got the wrong mindset is because you've been trained improperly. Unfortunately, most of the world sucks at sales. And so everybody that's went to sell you anything in the past, whether it's a phone, a car, a house, a sandwich, I don't care what it is, they've probably sold you the incorrect way, where you actually made purchases in the wrong stages and you felt uncomfortable sometimes. And therefore, you got a bad taste in your mouth of a salesperson and you don't want to be anything like that. Listen, they suck at sales. Most of the world does. They're the ones that trained you on what a salesperson is. All of you guys that are my customers, I guarantee you, none of you regret the fact that you've been sold into our program. because we deliver a great product. And here's the deal: if you believe you deliver a great product, then you should use real education and strategy in the sales process to be able to communicate your message effectively enough to where the person understands what you can do for them and buys. That's what sales is. It's not about being deceptive. It's not about tricking people or conning people. That's shitty salespeople, and you will not be those people because I don't work with those people. This is about actually helping people. Think about the way I think about it. Michael from South Tampa Fit, who's actually in this elite group, and he was on the webinar earlier today. This person was struggling. He was about to close his doors and got to the point where he not only was able to keep his doors open, but was able to actually grow, get a house, and now looking for another location. What would have happened if I never met Michael? That's the way I look at it. What if I let this guy off the hook? What if I don't sell him? What's his life going to look like in a year? I have a responsibility. I know I can help this guy. I'm going to get really good at learning how to communicate my message so that I can help more people and they don't go away. If you don't sell somebody and you could have really helped them, you did the wrong thing there. Remember that. Get good enough at sales so you can do enough of the right things and help more people. Don't let people off the hook that you know you can change your life. You're also going to sell the gut by removing everything that makes the gut uncomfortable. You never want somebody to feel uncomfortable in your fitness center, because when they feel uncomfortable in your fitness center, they tie that to you. Just like you hear people say you should never argue in the bedroom. Why? Because the bedroom shouldn't have arguing in it, because then that's what the bedroom's about and it's tied to that, and that shouldn't be in there. That aura shouldn't be in there. Okay? Well, it's the same thing here. Nobody should be uncomfortable. So when they first get in there, you should walk them through some of these things. You should tell them, hey, Janie, just so you know, this class is going to end in exactly an hour. So at 11 o'clock, it'll be all over, okay? But we're going to hit the whole hour, okay? This way, when she's in class, she's not looking at the clock, wondering when is this over? When is this over? Are we going into cool down soon? Where the bathroom is. What if Jane's very passive, like my wife, and doesn't like to create conflicts? She's probably, if she has to pee 15 minutes into this thing or she has to throw up, she's not going to ask you where the bathroom is. She's going to hold it as long as she possibly can because she doesn't want to be weird, because she notices nobody else is asking where the bathroom is. So she's uncomfortable. She's tying it to you. Hey, Jane, just so you know, the bathroom is right down the hall there too. If at any point throughout the class you feel like you need to go take a break or you need to go to the bathroom or anything, you feel free to just go over there and use the bathroom, okay? Also, Susie, if you get thirsty or a little hungry and you feel like you need a little bit more fuel in you, we have some water and snacks over there, and they're for sale, but they're pretty affordable. And you can go ahead and get any water or snacks. And if you like, we have a water fountain over there as well. And then also, introduce them to a loyalist, okay? Hey, Susie, well, let me tell you why. The number one thing that makes people uncomfortable in group classes, I don't know if you guys know this, is getting lost in class and then having to look at other members at what they're doing and then getting caught looking at them. That's uncomfortable. They don't like that, okay? So, introduce them to a loyalist. Hey, Janie, I want to introduce you to Sarah. Hey, Sarah, this is Janie. Sarah's been here for, how long have you been here now, Sarah? A year and a half? Wow, so Sarah's been here for like a year and a half now. She's a rock star. Seriously, this girl kills it here, and she's gotten some really great results, and I'm really proud of her. And Sarah, just so you know, this is Janie's first day with us. And so, is it okay, since you're pretty much the veteran here, is it okay if she kind of shadows you and watches what you do throughout class? She gets lost. Can she just kind of peek over in your direction to make sure she's doing the right things? And Sarah's going to go, oh, yeah, that's totally fine. You go, oh, thank you so much. Janie, you're in great hands here. Sarah's awesome. She's one of our longest term members here. And you walk away. Now that you walk away, what do you think Sarah's doing with Janie? Talking to her. What do you think Sarah's talking to her about? Well, the law of reciprocity tells us that she's talking about how awesome we are, because we just talked about how awesome she is, and she wants to give back. That's what people do, okay? That's why do you think when you go to get lunch with somebody and they say, I got this one, the natural instinct feeling is, all right, but I get you on the next one, right? You just feel awkward leaving it alone. And so Sarah's going to talk about how awesome you are. The great thing is Janie hears that very, very differently because the walls are down, because she knows that Sarah is not in the salesman bucket. Sarah is a member just like her. It's a peer. And she's listening to the peer with a very different ear. And now she's able to really hear how Sarah does what she does here, how she's gotten results. And Sarah's going to talk it up, and she'll probably say that the experience is better than it actually may have actually been for her, just because the law of reciprocity, as long as you talk to her up really, really high, the law of reciprocity is going to get her to match you. Okay? So she's going to talk about how great it is, how many results she got. She's going to ask if she has kids. She's going to say, yeah. How do you do it? Do you go to these schedules? Is this the class I go to? And this is how I make it work. And she's helping Janie feel comfortable. Okay? And now, when Janie's in class, not only is she not uncomfortable looking over at Sarah, but she's more comfortable when she does look at Sarah, because Sarah will probably give her a wink or a smile and make her feel like it's good, like she's doing a good job. Okay? Next thing, never make people feel normal or okay. I actually learned this from my personal trainer, Kelly, who's probably, he is in this elite group and he's probably going to comment. But my trainer, Kelly, and actually, I don't want to say I learned it from him. I got reminded of how valuable it is, because it was something I used to do as well. But when he did it to me, I remembered how it felt on the customer side, on the client side. So when somebody finishes your class and you go over to them and say, hey, how do you feel? I feel good, tired. That was actually pretty hard. Never, ever say, just so you know, it's totally normal. Everybody feels that way, but it does get easier. You're doing good. Don't ever do that. They don't want to feel normal. They don't want to feel like everybody else, because then they feel like, okay, great, that means this is how you feel in this class. Great, so tomorrow I'm going to feel like it's going to suck all the time? Well, first off, yes, it is going to feel like that all the time, because they can always push themselves harder. However, you don't want them attaching that feeling to it's sucking. You want them to attaching that feeling to it's awesome. So what my trainer does to me, and what I used to do as well, but it's so funny when he did it to me because I loved it. I remember I was exhausted after a set, and I was like, hold on, I need a break. He's like, what's the matter? I go, that was hard. And he goes, instead of saying, don't worry, everybody does that, he goes, isn't it great? And I looked at him and kind of smiled, and I go, huh? And he goes, isn't it the best? I mean, think about it. You could be on your couch right now eating potato chips, but instead you're getting your butt kicked out here like everybody else in the world wants to be doing but don't have the guts to do. High five, right? Like that person just feels great for now. That feeling of feeling exhausted and just beat up, it's tied to success and to something elite that most people can't do, and they did it. That's what you want them to feel, because they're going to feel that every day when they come and work out there if you're doing your job right, and you want them to love it, not feel like they're working in spite of it, okay? Tons of praise for doing what most don't. That kind of ties into that. Let them know when their next class should be, okay, based on today's class. I know you're just kind of getting into it. Maybe you shouldn't come tomorrow, but maybe the next day would be a good day for you to come in. And you should let them know how they should feel tomorrow. Hey, just, you may be a little sore tomorrow. That's fine. That's a good thing. Remember, that means you got real good results. So are you okay with feeling a little sore? Yeah. All right, awesome. See, you're gonna kill it here. Most people don't want to be sore, right? So just high five them and use their name constantly. So I want you to think of a time when you were single. If you're still single, think of it now. When you're out at a party or a bar and you meet somebody and you think they're really attractive and they fit the model of what you believe a perfect person is, and the person comes over and talks to you, they ask you your name, you tell them your name, and then throughout that conversation, they use your name. Every time they say your name, it feels good. I want you to think about it. Close your eyes and think of the perfect person that you just met saying your name. Oh, what an awesome feeling, right? Now, imagine that you're at that bar table and another person walks over, and you know that person. You go, hey, John, I want you to meet Kelly. Kelly, this is John. John, this is Kelly. That feels good. You remembered my name, right? But how shitty does it feel when you go, hey, John, I want you to meet, what was your name again? I'm sorry. Kelly, that's right. Kelly, I want you to meet John. John, this is Kelly. Kelly's awesome. Yeah, real awesome. Couldn't even remember my name, right? Use your name constantly for a few reasons. One, because every time you say their name, it releases a burst of serotonin to them. People love hearing their name. Remember what everyone's favorite topic is in the whole wide world? Themselves. And two, because by saying their name constantly, you remember it better to be able to say their name more often again to keep releasing more serotonin. Okay, here we go. Moving on. You're also going to sell the brain by making everything make 100% sense. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but how they're going to get to their goal, map it out for them, make it make sense to them. They don't get fitness like you do. Scheduling their next classes and why those are going to be their next classes. Mentioning the promotion for those that take action. I'm not even going to dive into this because this is a gold nugget that if you know how to do it, you'll kill it. And Liberty in episode 25 of the GSD show covers it. So, you want to learn how she kills it and makes sales on the very first day of people in their trials? This is it. So, follow and watch that episode. Follow up with a text or an email within an hour after. Again, think about when you were in the dating scene, or if you're still in the dating scene. How great is it after the date, 10 minutes later, you get a text message from the date that you really enjoyed, and he goes, or she goes, hey, just wanted to let you know I had a really great time tonight. Looking forward to round 2. Right? How good does that feel? They're still thinking about you an hour later. And then follow up with a text or an email the next day just to check on them. Hey, you had a pretty hard workout yesterday. Just want to let you know I was proud of you. Wanted to check in and see how you're feeling today. Right? That stuff works. Mention something personal in your messages sometimes if you have the time. Hey, just wanted to check in. You had a great workout yesterday. I'm proud of you. Just wanted to see how you're feeling. I know it was a pretty big leg day. Hopefully Nikki's not upset that you can't play soccer with him in the backyard. Wink emoji con, right? Something like that. Guys, just fill up your studio. This isn't something you have to do all the time. This is something you have to do until you fill up your studio and get really great people in there that fit the culture, and they'll bring people for you, okay? Work your ass off in the beginning, make it easy later. Get uncomfortable. Some of you may have looked at some of these ideas and strategies and said, I can't do that. That's not me. I know it's not you. Guess what? Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't born 300 pounds solid muscle either. But he got uncomfortable every single day. Look at his face right there. That is the most discomfort anyone's going to look, right? That is not the face of a guy sitting down on the couch eating cheesecake. That is a guy that is, unless you really don't like cheesecake, that is a guy that is in extreme discomfort for the greater good, to achieve a level of eliteness that nobody ever will match. And I want you guys to really do that. You ask from it from your customers and your members, do it yourself. Watch tape, improve flaws. Okay, so without a doubt, and maybe not in this group because you guys are elite members, so maybe wrong, but without a doubt, normal people, there's going to be people that say, Mike, I already know a lot of this stuff. I already do a lot of this. I already do a lot of that. I already do a lot of this. Yeah, I know. I know that. It doesn't matter. This guy in the chair, I know you all know, Michael Jordan. In fact, he is a more recognizable icon than the President of the United States, and he's been retired for like 15, 20 years. 15 years? Something like that. Yeah, 15 years. So what I want you guys to know, though, is that 8 years before this legend retired, he was already claimed to be the greatest that ever played the game. 8 years before he retired, he was already being talked about as if he was the best that ever played. But guess what he's doing right here? He's watching tape of the game he just played. And he did that after every game up until his last game, even though he was already the greatest. Why would he keep doing that? Because he is a true champion that strives for greatness. And he knows that even though he's the greatest, he can still be greater if he could just fix this percentage here. If he could just get this many more leads to come in and book, if he could just get this many more booked appointments to show, if he could just get this many more showed appointments to buy, and if he could just get this many more members to actually refer people or upgrade. That's the way Michael Jordan would run a fitness studio. He'd look for all the little percentages, all the little ways. He'd moneyball the entire play, the entire operation to find out how he can just be a little bit better every day and get really, really great. So that being said, when you hear the phrase, I'm the Michael Jordan of cooking, or I'm the Michael Jordan of golf, what does that mean? It means I'm the best cook or I'm the best golf player. So if you believe you're a Michael Jordan of sales, if you have the arrogance to say that you're the Michael Jordan of sales, then know that the Michael Jordan of sales would still be watching what he's done and find ways to make it better, would be measuring all the little parts of his business and making it better. So if you're not actually doing that, then you're not the Michael Jordan. If you're not listening to your calls to see how you could have been better on that call, if you're not asking for reviews on how your business is doing, if you're not asking your employees to shadow you sometimes and give input on how that sales went and with an open mind accepted their criticism and let them know to be harsh, then you're not the Michael Jordan of anything, because that's how you have to do everything in order to be like this guy. Okay, last two slides are my two favorite books. This one right here, You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar. It's one of my favorite sales books of all time. I love the title of this book, as long as it is, because you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. The kid's got to actually get on the bike and do it. He's got to pedal, and he's got to fall, and he's got to feel uncomfortable because riding a bike isn't natural, right? And you got to think about all the little steps of riding a bike. At first, it's awkward because you don't know how to pedal, and your dad lets you go, and all of a sudden you got to keep up without his hand on your seat. And then after that, okay, now you got to stop. That's a whole new skill I got to learn. And then you got to learn how to turn. And then you got to learn how to start without your dad actually giving you a little bit of a boost. And then you got to learn how to look both directions while riding. And the next thing you know, you're riding with one hand or no hands, looking around, having a conversation to your friend next to you that's riding a bike, and you don't even worry about anything. And you get so good at it that there's a phrase out there that says, oh yeah, I know how to do that still. It's like riding a bike, right? Sales is like riding a bike. Once you understand how to implement it in your entire life, the right way, not the wrong way, not the way you guys have probably been sold by 90% of the people that have sold you things in your past. When you sell things the right way, the people you admire the most, it's like riding a bike. You guys can sell all the time to everyone in a win-win situation to where everyone's happy and is proud to have been sold by you because they love the service that you're providing. If you haven't read this one yet, get it first. Do not read the other book until you read this one. This right here, if you ask entrepreneurs that really are diligent readers, they'll tell you that this is in their top 5 all-time books. Every small business owner should read this book. In fact, I'm disappointed if in 2 months from now we talk and you tell me you still haven't read the entire book. Please read this book. It'll open your mind up. And those of you that have read this book know what I'm talking about. It's not about running a business, okay? It's about creating a business that runs without you, not working in the business, working on the business. That phrase, which you've probably heard before, came from this book. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you got a lot of value out of this, and we're going to be doing more and more. It stinks that you weren't able to interact like you would have been if you were in the actual live webinar, but you'll be able to do it in future ones if you can make it. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of your night.